Hello and welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Now, our special guest today is one quarter of CPF. We've already had his stablemate Danny Black on the show in the past. He's someone who's really been climbing the ladder and really making a name for himself over the past couple of years and really starting to get the bookings that his performances rightly deserve. He's high-flying, he's energetic, he's charismatic, he always steals the show. I'm delighted to welcome to the podcast this week Joe Lando. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's delightful to have you on. First of all, talk to me about the last sort of year or so you've had, because it really seems like you've been putting in the work and getting those rewards now.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. Last year was decent for me, considering half of it I couldn't wrestle, obviously due to the pandemic and everything. I still managed in those, 5-6 months, if that, to have a decent year. And even that was hard to top. So far for the 6 months we've had, I think I might have already topped it. And I mean, it's only going up. Obviously, I've got America in August, which I'm super gassed for. So
yeah,
hell yeah, man.
For sure, absolutely. I actually had that down to ask you later, but as you bring it up, I saw that tweet that you put out going back to America in August. I mean, how pumped are you for that?
Mate, when we got put in lockdown, everything stems back to lockdown. All the matches I'm having now and all my goals stems from there, because I just had so much time to think. But ever since then, March 2020, America has been the goal. So it's kind of surreal that that's happening in 2 months, less than 2 months. Insane. But I'm super excited for that. Unfortunately, I can't share any of the bookings I have. But yeah, you won't be disappointed. It's cool.
I get that, and I'm sure the crowd over there are going to absolutely love you. And that's the thing I wanted to ask about, because obviously we're filming this sort of mid-June. This is going to be going out, by the time it goes out, it'll be sort of mid-July, because we've got a couple left, and then I'm going on holiday for a week, so I won't have anything out then. But then obviously it'll still be before you go out to America. But the episode before yours is going to be American star Becca, who obviously is coming over here. And what I talked to her about is, and I want to get your opinion on it as well, is how much work does it take as an indie wrestler to plan something as big as going on tour to America? Because I imagine it's much like a band doing it, where you've got to make sure it's cost effective and have all these other things sort of figured out logistically.
Yeah. Well, I'm really bad for planning things. I kind of just go on spontaneity.
Sure.
I just randomly had the thought, one day, fuck it, I have so much time off in August, I'm just gonna go to America. So I spoke to a few people, and I'm planning on putting all these people over, because there's so many people that have helped me. I want to document the whole trip of America, so I'll shout out everyone in that. But yeah, so many people just helped me make all these connections and stuff. So it kind of it happened quite easily, which I'm very fortunate for. But yeah, so many people, more from this scene, I'd say.
Really?
And even the scene out there have just, been so kind to help me. Yeah, and I will shout those people out one day.
They will get their recognition, yeah, for sure. But I appreciate you can't say anything now. But that must be really nice as well for yourself, in terms of to know that you're doing well, to know you're doing something right, in the fact that, these people are putting you over to work in America, or that American companies want you to work for them.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, I was kind of blown away from the support people were giving me, and they did half the work for me. These all these people. It's crazy to know that I'm liked or valued that much. It's really nice.
And we sort of mentioned it, again, you mentioned it a bit there, but you mentioned it a bit at the beginning as well, in terms of back over here, in terms of getting these bigger matches and better spots on cards, things like that. We've spoken to a few wrestlers about this, and you mentioned about everything sort of stemming back from the pandemic. And it seems like what I've said to a few wrestlers is it purely in the ring, because obviously everything that happened with COVID has been awful, in real life. But purely in the ring, it seems that the pandemic, because it sort of caused so many wrestlers to leave or sign contracts at big companies, has really opened up the doors for guys like yourself, like Danny Black, like Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen, and to really sort of step into those positions that you may not have had before.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, a lot of guys went off and they signed contracts and that. and it kind of left us with no like real stars. Like there was no, or still kind of is no real star power in British wrestling. So yeah, there's obviously chances for guys like Luke Jacobs and the Lycos boys to like step up. Like they're the top of the scene right now, and like talent wise, they are unmatched in this team. They are phenomenal. I spent like I was at Super Strong Style 16 weekend or 3 days, and like just watching Luke and the Lycos boys and all that do their thing, and Warren Banks as well.
Yeah,
like they're in another league. So it's cool that I'm on shows with them, and I'm kind of part of what is hopefully the rise of British wrestling again.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting you mentioned that about sort of like star power, because again, that's something that's, I guess, sort of been bandied around a bit in the fact that, you know, all those sort of big names left. And it seems like there's still maybe that group of people that it's sort of like, oh, there's no big stars, so I may not go to a show. But by going to a show, that's how you build the big stars, right? That's how the next stars are made.
Exactly. Like we've all got to start somewhere. And it's now the support we get now, like that's what makes us. That's what makes stars. So without that support now, we're never going to get any stars. We're in a tough time in the world in general. Of like obviously financially everyone's struggling. So it's much easier said than done. But yeah, now is the most important time to build stars. So we need all the support we can get for sure.
For sure, absolutely. And you mentioned Super Strong Style weekend there. And I want to bring this up with you because obviously Strong Style is such a huge weekend for Progress. And they always put on some incredible matches. And based on just from what I've seen on like social media, but also from, like you said, our reviewers that did the review of the weekend, like for you guys, like CPF generally, to have, I guess, two of like really the matches of the weekend on a card as stacked as Strong Style over that weekend, that must be a really nice feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say like it's just cool to be on shows with like the top stars, not only of this scene, but you had guys like we were in the ring with Ricochet and Page and Jack Evans. Like it's crazy. It's really cool to be valued that high, I guess, and prove that we can hang with the best. Yeah.
And talk to me about CPF, because I want to know, like, it just seems like obviously you guys have been friends for a long time, but it seems like in terms of in the ring, this whole sort of faction, I guess, came together quite organically.
Yeah, and I'll bring it back to lockdown again. That's the time where like we all really became like close personal friends. Like I've known Mayhew since 2016, which is when I first started training. He was like one of the first people I met in wrestling, and like we've been friends ever since. I've known Danny and Callum since like 2018. But it wasn't until like 2020 that we became like really close,
right?
In our group chat, and obviously when we had all that time off to think, we were just like, we all have similar styles. We're all genuinely best friends. Like it's not just a gimmick. Like it's a shoot. So yeah, it did happen organically. It was for us. It was a no-brainer, and we tried pitching the idea to a couple of promotions, and no one was really biting it. And then we spoke to Progress about it, and they loved the idea. So, Progress being one of, if not the top promotion, indie promotion in the country, for them to like actually go ahead and do it when some of the other promotions didn't, that's like super cool of them. So shout out Progress for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad it's a thing. I'm glad it's getting over.
Yeah, and we mentioned that in terms of, again, like companies having that faith in you. Like you say, for a company like Progress that are so well known worldwide, to be the ones to sort of take that chance on you and sort of put you in that spotlight altogether like you wanted, that must be a really nice feeling as well.
Yeah, like when I found out my debut match for Progress was against my 3 best friends. Like you honestly, you can't write some of this stuff. Like it was just like it was meant to be. And then we kind of formed after the match, and yeah, like it's just crazy. We haven't got too much of a chance to do it at other promotions yet. We've only done the 2 8-mans at Progress, but we're going to Austria later this month, 3 of us as CPF.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get around. Obviously, the thing with us, we're all singles wrestlers as well as tag wrestlers. And now we've started to wear the balloon armband in every match.
Yeah.
So everywhere we go, we're representing CPF. But it'll be nice to get a few more tag matches, whether that's 2-on-2, 6-man, 8-man, literally any combination of us, and like we'll steal your show.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. That's the thing, isn't it? I think that you guys, with the energy you bring, like that sort of like high flying style, and really like you can tell when you're having matches, you really put your all into everything. And that always will steal the show. You know what I mean? Like that's always gonna get over because it's just absolutely wild.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what we aim to do. We aim to, especially with 8-mans, we can bring so much more to the table in terms of like creativity. So in the first 8-man we did like a pendulum swing into a shooting star code breaker. And then in the most recent one we done like everyone jumped off like the same corner all at once into different flips. So like, yeah, like we're always thinking of crazy shit to do, and have those like standout or giftable moments, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone watching this, you need to book CPF if you haven't already, because like, what are you doing if not?
For sure.
And I want to talk to you about again, like you sort of mentioned the fact that maybe some other promotions haven't given you too much of a chance as a quartet, but in terms of singles matches as well, I know that our reviewer Ewan has seen you have like I think 2 or 3 matches like this year with Danny, and like every time I talk to him after, he's like, yeah, they stole the show. Like that was clearly the best match on the card. I mean, like talk to me about that dynamic you guys have. Is it sort of like a good friends, better rivals type thing?
100%, yeah. I think I captioned one of the posts with that as well. That's the thing, like, yeah, like, we gel well together as a team, all of us. When you put us all against each other, like, we also go off. It's mental. Like, we just gel in every aspect, inside the ring, outside the ring, just literally everything. So, yeah, for sure, I've had 2 of my matches against Danny, both of this year, both of the UKPW actually, in the same venue. So I don't know, maybe the venue's good luck.
Is that that's the
thing. But yeah, like we trust each other, so we're willing to go that extra mile and push the boundaries of what we can do. And it comes off well. So yeah.
And I'm going to put you under a bit of pressure here because now I need to ask if we're talking getting some gold around your waist, either the back end of this year or into next year. Are you rather a singles belt or would you rather a tag team one?
I mean, I'd rather anything. Like, I'm not fussy. However, titles look super nice. Those would be nice.
Nice, yeah.
Even if we could like Freebirds rule that with all the CPF. I don't even have to be in the match to win it, as long as I have them somehow. That'd be nice.
That's what you got to do, isn't it? That's what you got to do. And again, sort of putting you on the spot because we've had a few people who are sort of part of bigger factions like Jade and Lucia Lee on the show, and I've put them on the spot with this question. So I'm going to have to do the same with you because it's only fair.
Okay.
So let's say tag gold, and let's say you can't Freebird it. Which other CPF member are you taking the belts with?
That's a nasty one.
I put you on the spot.
I'm gonna say Danny.
Yeah.
Only because we train is going to be with Danny. And we have a few combos down already, and a few of which we did in the Ignite match, the last one I had. So yeah, probably Danny.
Nice. I appreciate that you gave a straight answer there, because I know I put you on the spot with that. But I mean, shout out to all 4 of like you guys. Like you're doing incredible work. Like really, it's really something special, and can't wait to see like what the future holds for you as a group.
Yeah.
But again, talk to me about. I guess things like you say, going back to America, or like when you've got a whole bunch of shows, say in the UK, like sort of strung together over a weekend. Like in terms of just for you personally, like mentally, how I know you said you're quite spontaneous, but like, is there any sort of like mental prep you do for going away, or like going like away for a weekend to somewhere maybe you're not as familiar with?
Not really, no.
No.
No, I tend to go into every like booking, open-minded. Like, I don't know. The stress starts start putting the match together and I'm putting on my gear. That's when like I'm a massive stress head. So yeah, I kind of bottle it up and save it all for when I'm at the show. But I actually quite enjoy traveling. Like I enjoy the long train rides or the long flights or like just being at airports in general. Like I like that stuff. Maybe it's because I haven't done it like to the extent of some other people in this business.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll start to hate it. Perhaps after August. But no, right now I love all the travel and everything. And yeah, the stress starts at the show.
Yeah, for sure. And like we again, so we talk about branching into America, but what about branching into say like the rest of the UK? Because you're very sort of like London and the surrounding area based at the minute in terms of your shows. I mean, is that something you want to do? You know, maybe like get up north, get to like maybe ICW or over to Ireland, things like that.
Yeah, of course. Like I'm very big on I want to wrestle everywhere and anywhere. And it's weird you say that most of my shows genuinely are in London. I'm not from London. Like I'm from East Midlands, so it kind of makes no sense. But like I love the London shows and kind of, obviously that's where most of CPF is now.
Yeah. Do you think that's why
yeah,
maybe? Do you think that's why like your association with them and like I guess the fact that you guys like sort of face each other a lot or tag a lot and things like that maybe people just assume you're like based there and so bring you down?
I think so, and I stay at James's house a lot. He's very kind to like host me. Like last year, it was like almost every weekend. Like I was basically living there. So I think people literally just assumed I either lived with him or just lived like in Essex, London, because I was always with that scene. But no, I am indeed. I'm based out of Peterborough.
Right.
But yeah, no. Later this year, it was announced 2 days ago. I've got TNT in Liverpool, so that's slightly more up north. And I've got Sovereign Pro in Manchester in October. So we're starting to move up.
Starting to get those road miles. Yeah, for sure. And those are two like again. So we talk about new promotions thing like obviously Soft Pro's a new promotion, but they look like they're really starting strong. And TNT, I mean like TNT, I think before the pandemic was probably one of the like best kept secrets of British wrestling. But since wrestling's come back, I think it's like really been thrust into that spotlight as well.
Yeah, for sure. TNT are killing it. Like I'm part of the like their cruiserweight tournament. So that I'm gonna thrive there. But yeah, the crowd looked mental and the venue looks sick as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, is it nice? Like, is it maybe a bit of I guess almost like extra motivation when you're appearing in front of like a new crowd for the first time to be like, right, this is who I am. This is what I can do.
I guess, but I always have treated every match as if it's the first time people have seen me wrestle, which I think is a good mentality to have. It keeps me striving to do my best.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to fall any bad habits or laziness. So I treat every match as if it's the first time people have seen me, which a lot of the time, with how like the crowds are. It is the case most of the time. It is the first time people have seen me wrestle. So
yeah, no, I get that. And so, what about like you mentioned a couple of shows there, but what about say for the rest of the year and into next year in terms of I guess people you'd like to face or other places you'd like to wrestle? Like if we were having this conversation like next year, and I'd have been like, was it a successful year because there's only 6 months left of it, but say like June next year we're having a chat again, and I say like, how are the last 12 months? What would constitute a successful 12 months for Joe Lando?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm really bad when like names of who I want to wrestle because like my mind goes blank and then I'll think about it in a couple of days and I'll be like, oh, that person. A lot of the people I want to wrestle, a lot of the goals are based in the States because that's kind of what I've set my sights to. So like the main four there is like Blake Christian, Alex Zane, Dante Leon, Ninja Mac.
Nice.
Those are kind of the guys there. So to wrestle them in some form would be nice. I really want a singles match with Kid Lycos.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling Kid Lycos 2 later this month. But I want the singles match with Kid Lycos. I have a pinfall victory over him. So
that's where you get that though. You beat Lycos 2 and then you move up. It's like the sort of like the main boss and then you face his like henchman first. Yeah.
And places I'd like to wrestle. The main one out of all the independents is GCW. I would love to wrestle GCW. So if I've done that by next June, I'm over the moon.
Nice.
Yeah, and like freelance as well in Chicago out there, that would be nice. And you mentioned Ireland earlier. OTT would be lovely.
Yeah.
I love OTT. I've done some shows with Rev Pro, but more Rev Pro shows would be nice. Yeah, those are kind of the main ones off the top of my head. Nice. But again, I'm very much anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah. Face as many people as possible.
Yeah,
it's a good attitude to have, for sure. Well, we're going to move on to sort of like our sort of main feature of the podcast, which is where we get to sort of like know you a little bit better as a person, more of a shoot rather than about your wrestling.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop some questions to you, and you let me know what comes to mind.
Right.
Awesome. Right, the first one is my favourite pre-show meal.
I struggle to eat on show days.
Sure.
Get like a banana and a protein bar, I'm happy.
Nice, yeah. A lot of people like the classic answer is like energy drink or something like that.
Oh no, I don't like energy drinks. A banana and protein bar, and I'm solid.
Nice. Well, on the opposite end, the next one is my favourite post-pinfall pig out.
Brownies.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah. Nice. Do you like load them up? Like, are we talking like nuts or like peanut butter or stuff in there, or is it just classic chocolate all the way through?
No, yeah, just classic chocolate brownies, just piling them into me.
Nice. Do you make them as well? Can you make them?
No, don't be silly.
I'll keep that in mind. Next time I come to a show you're on, I'll bring you some brownies.
I appreciate that.
And the next one is they're not all food based, I promise. The final food based one.
That's fine. I'm fine if they are.
The final food based one is my favourite food just generally. It's not a show day. You don't need to worry about pre or post match. You just fancy your favourite food on a random day. What is it?
I love a steak.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd you have it cooked?
Well, see, this is what I could get heat for. I like them. If you give me a steak rare, I'll eat it. Give me a choice. I like them well done.
No.
I can have them anyhow, but if you give me a choice, it's well done.
Sure. I'm glad you're not fussy with it as well, though. That's fine. That sort of rescues you a bit, but you're right.
I don't mind the blood. I just prefer it a bit tougher.
Sure. You give your jaw a workout that way as well, isn't it? It's
exactly.
Like going to the gym. Yeah. Nice. Do you have like sauce or anything with it, like peppercorn sauce or anything like that?
No, I'm pretty plain. I'm pretty boring.
Sure. Fair enough. Next one is the song that gets me the most hyped.
Ooh. Probably it changes every day, to be honest. I can't lie. But my entrance song is Carl Barker by Dance Gavin Dance. So when I hear that hit, that's
you're like, yes, this is the moment.
Yeah, it's a banging song too. Like I listen to it anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. What are you like, sort of like pre-match? Like when does that sort of adrenaline kick in? Is it when the music hits, or like do you have that sort of like? Are you a bit like more pumped before that?
When I step out there,
yeah.
Before I go out, it doesn't matter the show. I'm a very nervous person.
Sure.
So it's very much like shoot me. I go out the curtain. Then there's Joe Lando.
Yeah, and I'm sure with like again like sort of like your moveset and again the sort of like the energy you put into your wrestling, that's almost like that release again of all that sort of like nervous energy as well. You can really like let it out. Yeah.
There's been a few times, especially when I'm doing something for the first time. For instance, like the shooter to the outside. Like when I hit that and you see me get up and scream, that's just all like the stress just coming off me. Like that's a shoot reaction. I'm gassed. Yeah.
Nice. The next one is no, it's not. It's that one. It's my favorite band of all time. It doesn't have to be a band. It can be like a solo artist, but favorite music act of all time, essentially.
Again, it changes. But I've got a neck deep tattoo here.
Nice, neck deep are great.
I love neck deep. I love Dance Gavin Dance. That's who I come out to. The story so far, I'm really into pop punk.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. Do you talk to like Jake Silver much, Pop Punk Kid?
Actually, no.
Oh, we had him on, and like again when we chatted, it was like again because I'm a pop punk fan as well, so it was just like a good 10 minutes of it was just solid pop punk chat.
Hell yeah. So like I love Blink and Green Day, and then British indie rock, like Arctic Monkeys. I kind of grew up on Arctic Monkeys and
Sure.
the Kooks as well.
Yeah, Kooks are underrated.
Yeah, for sure. Recently I've been into Doja Cat as well. I love her stuff.
Right. Okay.
I'm a big Katy Perry fan as well. And I've been listening to a lot of Mac Miller.
Mac Miller. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very mixed.
And then a big one for me is Tyler the Creator also.
Nice. Yeah.
All them at the moment. Yeah.
Very eclectic music taste. Yeah, I like that. The next one is the best gig I've ever been to.
I haven't actually been to a gig. I don't think.
Oh. Okay.
No, never.
No.
No, I was meant to go to Slam Dunk in 2020.
Right.
But then obviously that got called off.
Yeah.
So and then I don't think I could make the date it got rescheduled for. So yeah, I've never been to a gig.
Oh, okay. No, that's good. We got to change that. You got to get you.
Yeah, I know. I need to take that off the list. Go to a gig. I'd say Neck Deep. It'll be a Neck Deep one.
Nice. Yeah, Neck Deep are really good. They're really coming on strong as well. Yeah, for sure. Like Neck Deep. Next one is the movie that I'd show the locker room.
Happy Gilmore. I love Happy Gilmore.
Love Happy Gilmore. That's such a good shout. I literally watched that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, and it's just so ridiculous.
It's my favorite. Yeah.
That is great. That's a really great shout. Who is the I guess if you're the Happy Gilmore, not necessarily with golf, let's say in wrestling. Who's your like Chubbs Peterson? Who's your like mentor in that sense?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Who's my Chubbs?
They don't need to have like a fake wooden hand or anything, but
I don't want to kill him either.
Yeah.
I would say Maverick Mayhew.
Yeah.
His Mayhew. Yeah, just because he's known me since I've been a trainee, and he's especially in my early years, which is weird because I'm only 5 years in now. But especially the first 2-3 before the pandemic, he was he helped shape a lot of my work. So yeah, Maverick.
Nice. What about other sports then? Is it could you have transitioned into any other sport like he does?
How do you mean?
Was there any other sports that say you were good at growing up or something? You could have done that instead of wrestling.
No, I'm actually really really bad at sports. I'm athletic,
sure.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I just when it comes to actual sports, I can't translate it. I can't do it. I loved football growing up. So I'd always play football. As a kid, I played football for a team.
Right.
But I was no good. I was a bench warmer.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I like football.
Fair enough. Who do you support?
Arsenal.
Nice. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's a decent enough. Yeah, I can live with that. I'm a Brighton fan, so any answer that's not Crystal Palace is fine with me.
Yeah.
That's all right. Brilliant. Well, next one is my favourite way to relax.
Music, 100%.
Nice.
Music, bed, brownies.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, it's a really good call. Yeah. Like that. I like that. Brownies, the problem is in bed, though. The crumbs get everywhere. And then you can never be bothered to clear it up, and you end up sleeping and you're finding crumbs.
Oh, I'll live with it.
Nice one. Next one is my first job.
It's the same line of work I have now, working in primary school.
Okay.
As a TA.
Oh, nice. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. Quite a lot of wrestlers will have had this job working in a school. It's initially, I wanted to get into it because, with my set of being a wrestler, you get all the holidays.
Yeah.
And it's just ideal.
Yeah.
And when I first started and I wanted to go training afterwards, it finishes at 3, so I have plenty of time to make training. And then it turned out I was actually quite good at it. So yeah, I stuck with it, and yeah, I'm only a TA at the moment, but I'm hoping to progress one day onto a teacher course. Nice. if the wrestling hasn't quite taken off.
Nice.
Because it's honestly God forbid something bad happens, with an injury in wrestling. I'm completely comfortable falling back on teaching because I love it.
Nice.
I wouldn't say just as much, but I really enjoy it.
What sort of age group do you teach?
It's primary, so I'm working with year 3, so
okay.
7 to 8.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do they know you wrestle?
A couple of them know. I don't try to hide it. But I don't. They don't really care. Honestly, they don't care because I think there'll be some like massive reaction to it, but they don't care. Maybe it's because they don't quite know what it is.
Yeah, you need to get him. You need to get him to a show sometime, like
Perhaps,
school field trip.
perhaps none of them know my wrestling name, so I keep that secret. But like, I'm open with sharing that I am a wrestler.
Brilliant. And again, that must be like really rewarding as well. And it's nice, like you say, to have something that you can fall back on that you're also passionate about. That's not just a job.
Like honestly, it's a fortunate situation. Like I've got a stable job there. Wrestling is going well. Like it's a really good situation to be in.
Nice. And you mentioned the holidays thing. I'm intrigued by this because obviously, like every kid growing up is like, oh, our teacher's so lucky, like they get all the holidays off as well and everything, and like things like that. And it seems like that sort of job. You know, is the perception correct that it's like it's quite nice to have those summer holidays off, whereas other adults are working through the summer?
For me, as a teaching assistant, yes, because I don't have the responsibilities as a teacher. But obviously, like, I'm very close to the teacher I work with, and like throughout all the holidays and that, he's still coming in.
Oh, okay.
And he's still working. Like, not obviously all the time. It's not like he's working full time throughout these holidays. But like, yeah, there's still a lot of effort that goes in, and like he'll take books home to mark and that.
Right.
So for an actual teacher, it's not as easy as everyone thinks. But for a TA, yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah.
Nice one. Nice. Next one is oh well, you've answered it here. Unless you've got any sort of like other, sort of like dream jobs growing up sort of thing. Because the next one is if I wasn't a wrestler, I'd be.
Yeah, teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just put more effort into actually becoming like a class teacher though.
Sure. Yeah. What about growing up? Did you have anything else you wanted to be?
A Power Ranger.
Oh, obviously,
yeah. Which technically, in a way, I'm doing. You that sort now.
Of. Oh, I tell you what, you guys could definitely pull off like a Power Ranger thing as CPF.
That's a really good shout. I'm gonna put that in the group chat after this finishes.
Nice.
But we do have. I won't give anything away, but we do have a superhero themed set, which is I say it's in the works. The design's been drawn. We're all too broke to get it, but it will happen. It'll happen one day.
Yeah, sure. No, I like
this
that.
Year.
I like that. Well, that's the thing. Actually, another tangent there, because we've had a couple of wrestlers talk about this as well. It's like, again, when you're sort of working part time, you're only wrestling part time. You can't go full time. It's like how tough is it to sort of, again, like almost like you say, like justify what you spend your money on in the ring, whether it be new gear or things like that, is that a tough decision to make?
Yeah. Like again, I said I'm in a fortunate position where like I have a stable job and I'm still living at home, so obviously that helps a lot. I'm not as bad as Danny Black, I'll tell you that. And Callum actually, Callum's like, oh, I'm so broke. Yeah, he's posting like a new set, like every month it seems like. And Danny is exactly the same. Like he'll complain about being broke, but he has like so many sets of gear. So I'm not that bad. I obviously have the alligator set that you see me wear the most, and then I have the CPF set, which set us back quite a bit because we had to. It was made in like 3 weeks.
Oh wow!
And it's really good quality. But obviously it cost a bit extra for that to be done.
Sure.
And then I have a set in the works now, ready for America.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm relatively smart with it. I've had to be super smart the past month or so, obviously with America coming about.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll continue that after America finishes. But yeah, I've actually been really smart the past couple of months. Yeah.
Nice, I'm sure, for sure. The next one is well, we're going to get a bit deep with the next one because it's my greatest fear.
My greatest fear. Oh, I don't know if it's cringe, but embarrassment. I hate the feeling of like embarrassment.
Yeah.
Which I guess could be linked to like failure, because when I fail, I get embarrassed.
Sure.
If we're talking like wrestling related, like I put a lot of pressure on myself, to be like perfect or as perfect as I can be, which isn't possible. I've never had a match and I've come out of it like, yeah, that was perfect. And I don't think I ever will. I don't think anyone ever has. But yeah, like Being embarrassed is my biggest fear.
Sure, I get that.
Probably.
I get that. The next one, a couple of wrestling ones. The next one is my favorite wrestling match ever, and let's say one you've had and one you've seen.
One I've had, me and Danny Black in. I'm gonna say the ladder match one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from like technical standpoint, it'll be the non-ladder match one I had with Danny earlier this year. But from just like for me to watch and be entertained by and how it felt doing it, the ladder match versus Danny is my favorite.
Nice.
Favorite match? I don't actually know.
No.
No, one that springs. No, it wouldn't be my favorite though. I don't know. I was a big fan of the Royal Rumble 2015. It was Rollins, Cena, Lesnar.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite of all time, but it was a good match.
It's a good match.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. No, that's a good shout. And the next one is again. Let's say if one springs to mind, let's say sort of like in person, like you're in the venue. It's the loudest. It's the loudest pop I've ever heard.
I was actually there for when the Hardy Boys returned at WrestleMania.
No, nice. Yeah. Nothing's gonna top that. I don't think that was.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, in terms of pop, like obviously, like I wasn't like there in person, but even like watching on TV, you just like I'd never heard anything like that from a crowd.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly,
that's mental. Yeah, I like that. And the next one is my favorite venue to wrestle in.
Ooh. Yeah, Electric Ballroom has to be.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great venue.
Has to be.
Great venue.
It is, and the lighting's amazing in there as well.
Yeah, they do it well. They know how to put on a show. A couple of final ones. Yeah, they're about travel because the first one's my favorite place in the world.
My favorite place in the world. Wow.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a country or a city. Like Scotty Rourke said, his bed, but like we've had people say like cities or like other countries and stuff. So like anything in between all that.
I'll go with the city. I just love the city of London in general.
Nice.
Yeah, I just love London life. So yeah, London, I'll say.
And the final one is my dream holiday destination.
I feel everyone probably says like Japan, Tokyo.
Yeah. People normally say like Japan, but I'd like to wrestle there, so it wouldn't really be a holiday sort of thing.
Well, yeah, to be fair. So apart from that, when I think of any place, it's like, oh, I could wrestle there. But in terms of like a holiday just to enjoy myself, I'd love to go to LA.
Nice.
I'd love to go to LA, yeah.
Nice. Good shout. Brilliant. Well, Joe Lando, thank you so much for coming on the Grapple Theory podcast. It's been a pleasure having you on and chatting.
Oh yeah, man, I've loved it.
Brilliant. I'm glad. It's good to hear you say that. We always give our guests one final bit of promo time before leaving. So if anyone watches this and wants to book you or wants to come and see you or wants to come and see CPF, why is Joe Lando and, as well the rest of CPF, why are you all going to steal the show for the rest of this year and into next year?
Because we're the four steeziest motherfuckers in this scene. Yeah, we bring something new to every show. We'll bring a new spot to every single show. You've never seen it before. That's why you should book us. Any single one of us. We can all do it.
Brilliant. Awesome. Perfectly put. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.